When you hear the title I Am Legend, you probably think of Will Smith. You think of a cool, post-apocalyptic action movie. You picture a brilliant scientist living in a fortified New York City apartment, working in a high-tech basement lab to cure a virus that turned humanity into screaming, mindless CGI zombies. It's a fun movie. But as an adaptation of Richard Matheson's original 1954 novel, it is an absolute disaster. Will Smith's I Am Legend completely misunderstood the assignment. It stripped away the psychological horror, changed the monsters, and ruined what is widely considered the greatest twist ending in science fiction history. Because in the original book, Robert Neville is not a brilliant scientist trying to save the world. He's a depressed, alcoholic, blue-collar factory worker who is just trying to survive the night and the monsters outside his house. They aren't mindless zombies. They are intelligent. They can speak, and they know his name. Welcome to our new series, where we look at the terrifying true story of I Am Legend. Today, we are talking about the monsters, the psychological torture of isolation, and the terrifying neighbor that Hollywood cut from the film. Let's talk about the monsters. In the 2007 movie, the infected are called Darkseekers. They are basically fast zombies that burn in the sunlight. They roar, they throw things, and they run on pure, animalistic rage. But Richard Matheson didn't write a zombie book. He wrote a vampire book. In fact, I Am Legend is the novel that basically invented the modern post-apocalyptic survival genre. In the book, the infection is a bacteria that turns people into literal, mythological vampires. They are repelled by garlic. They hate mirrors. They have to sleep in the dirt. And the only way to kill them is to drive a wooden stake through their hearts or drag them into the sunlight. But the scariest difference between the movie and the book isn't how the monsters look, it's how they act. In the movie, the Darkseekers are mindless. In the book, the vampires are conscious. They retain their memories. They can talk. When the sun goes down, Robert Neville locks himself inside his house in suburban Los Angeles. He puts records on the record player and turns the music up as loud as it will go. Why? Because he is trying to drown out the sound of the vampires outside. They don't just roar at his house. They talk to him. They taunt him. The female vampires stand on his lawn and try to seduce him, begging him to come outside and join them in the dark. It is pure psychological torture. And that brings us to the most terrifying character in the book, a character the movie completely erased. His name is Ben Cortman. Before the plague wiped out humanity, Ben Cortman was Robert Neville's neighbor. He was his friend. They used to carpool to work together. They drank beers together. But Cortman caught the plague. He died, and he came back. Now, Ben Cortman is the leader of the vampire pack that surrounds Neville's house every single night. And every night, without fail, Ben Cortman stands on Neville's front lawn and yells his name. Come out, Neville. Just imagine the psychological toll of that. You are the last man on Earth. You are entirely alone. And the only voice you hear every single night is your former best friend standing on your lawn, happily demanding that you come outside so he can rip your throat out. Come out, Neville. It's like a twisted, horrific game. During the day, when the sun is up, Neville searches the city for Courtman, trying to find where his old friend is sleeping, so he can drive a stake through his heart and finally get some peace. But Courtman is smart. He hides in a different place every day, and every night the sun goes down and the shouting begins again. Because the movie turned Neville into a heroic scientist, it completely glossed over the reality of what surviving in this world actually looks like. In the book, Neville's days are not spent in a clean, high-tech lab looking through a microscope. His days are spent doing manual, gruesome labor. He is a blue-collar exterminator. Every morning, he wakes up, drinks heavily to cope with his depression, and goes out into the city with a bag full of wooden stakes that he carved himself on a lathe. He breaks into houses. He finds the vampires asleep in the shadows, and he murders them in their sleep. Men, women, children, doesn't matter. He drives a stake through their chests. Then he has to drag their bodies to a massive, burning trench that he keeps lit in the middle of a field to dispose of the corpses. It's exhausting, filthy, soul-crushing work. He isn't trying to cure them. He is just trying to eradicate them, one house at a time. The movie makes you feel like Neville is a hero. The book makes you realize that to the vampires, Neville is a serial killer who murders them in their beds. Hollywood took a psychological masterpiece about the horrors of complete isolation and turned it into an explosive zombie shootout. They took away the talking vampires. They took away the taunting neighbor. But the changes they made to the monsters are nothing compared to what they did to the dog. If you've seen the movie, you know the story of Samantha the German Shepherd is heartbreaking. But in the book, there is no Samantha. Neville is completely alone for months until he sees a stray, terrified dog wandering the streets in the daylight. In episode 2, we are going to look at the true story of the dog in I Am Legend. It is one of the bleakest, most grounded, and most emotionally devastating chapters Richard Matheson ever wrote. And it proves just how desperate for companionship the last man on Earth truly was. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss episode 2. And let me know in the comments, would you rather face mindless zombies or intelligent vampires that know your name and taunt you all night long? Lock your doors, check your garlic, and I'll see you in the next one.